It is our overtime section, but I do want to remind you also, before we dive into this game, that if you are joining us for the very first time, welcome in Wager Talk TV. Hit that subscribe button, become part of the Wager Talk TV family, and gain yourself access to all of the daily and weekly content of all the big games coming up in all the sports, whether it be Wild Card Weekend, daily NBA, daily college basketball, NHL, you name it. We've got you covered here. So hit that thumbs up, those of you joining us live, and become part of the Wager Talk TV family, as we are going to go down the road from me. Interesting, this game, as the Miami Heat taking on everyone's favorite now, which is kind of shocking. What a difference a year makes. The Oklahoma City Thunder. Everybody loves Oklahoma City. But what I find interesting about this total, Ski, is that it's come down here a little bit. And yet I'm looking at Miami's lineup here and the guys they are trotting out. That's a lot of three-point shooting tonight for Miami on that court. I don't even, they may try to get inside the paint with Bam, but it feels like bombs away here tonight in this game. Are you leaning towards the over like I am, or do you think the under in the market is onto something here?
Well, this one is a little bit tough for me. I know Miami has been playing more under games lately, 5 of their last 6, but at the house so far this season, 10-6 to the over. And OKC, a little bit of the opposite. They've gone over 8 of their last 10 games. Something that bothers me with the over here, Joe, just looking at how teams have been playing lately, last 5 games, both bottom 10 in pace. And that's not what I really want to see. I agree you have a number 1 and number 3 3-point shooting teams. So, if they're out there knocking them down, it still has a chance. But all it takes is a bad shooting quarter. And if they're playing slow pace, I don't really see them catching up. So I'm not running to the window to bet the over. I can understand your point as far as the 3-point shooting, but it still makes me a little bit nervous. So I guess if I don't feel confident that I can go over, I'll lean towards under.
It's an interesting game, RC, from that standpoint, because we know OKC 8-2 to the over in the last 10 games, and Ski said they've been actually pretty good, a sneaky over team at home here. So what gives? What do you think we're going to get in this one here tonight?
Yeah, I know this. You mentioned the Thunder stats to the over. They haven't really been playing any defense on this road trip that they've been on. They gave up 141 to the Hawks, 124 to the Nets, 128 to the Wizards. At the same time, they're one of the most efficient teams offensively in the league, which is why they have that such a good cluster of overs in the last 10 or whatever games it was. But if you look at the Heat side, they do play a slower pace, and if you look at their last 10 games, their defense has definitely picked up 5th in the league in defensive rating in the last 10 games. That's why you had a cluster of unders from them before that Rockets game. The thing with Miami, though, their offense is actually much more efficient at home than it is on the road, which is why the majority of the unders that they just had were on the road. This season when playing their second game home off of a road trip, I looked at that just because they have to adjust. Right, they're at the corner of the country. Wherever they go, they're going to be traveling the furthest of pretty much almost all of the teams. But second game home off of a road trip, giving them time to adjust from wherever they are. They're actually 4-0 to the over, averaging a combined score of, I think it's 240 around there. That's well above what this total we have here is. I think the total is probably going in the wrong direction. If I were to bet this game, I would definitely look towards the over and not the under with how the Thunder have been playing recently.
All right, Vino. I know. Right? No way you looking at an under. Hell no. Are you looking at an under in this spot? No way. This has got Rob Vino written all over. We got the market pushing it down, and we've talked about it before with this Miami team, especially at home. Real sneaky over spot. You just got to love it's all 3-point shooters going to be out on that court here tonight for Miami. What do you think?
Yeah, you probably could save us 3.5, 4 minutes here, Joe, and just skip right on. You know where I'm going. You talked about Miami sending 3-point shooters out there, right? And I think Ronald hit on this, how poor Oklahoma City's defense is recently. They're basically just outscoring people because nobody can stay with them. And I think, having been on the other day with Ski, I don't keep the last 5 game numbers, but I do believe that OKC was near the bottom in defense the other day over the course of the last 5. So it hasn't been good. If you're just looking specifically at 3-point shooting allowed by the Thunder, 7 of their last 9 games, teams have shot at least 36% from 3 against them, which puts Miami in a favorable spot tonight. If you look at Oklahoma City, a lot's been made of how they're playing offense by the 2 guys ahead of me. I'll just put some numbers to it. Last 10 games, 8 of those, OKC has scored over 120 points. Whether or not Miami's a good defensive team or not, to me, that gets shoved to the side by the fact that during those 10 games, Oklahoma City has played Boston, number 2 defense in the NBA. They scored 127. They played Minnesota, best defense in the NBA by the defensive efficiency numbers, scored 129. Played Denver. If they're not top 10, they're just outside the top 10, maybe number 11, scored 119 against them. So why not against this Miami team? Again, Oklahoma City, anytime that they have some rest, because they're so deep, because they're so young, because Dagnall lets them run, I don't see Miami stopping them from scoring, tell you the truth, Joe. You talked about the lineup they're putting out there. Look at all that 3-point shooting. Look at all that lack of defense out there, too. So to me, 233.5 in a game here where OKC's been allowing threes. They've been scoring on everybody. For what it's worth, the difference in game total, final score average between Miami home games and Miami road, at home, their games land at 233.2 on average, which is just what we're looking at tonight. On the road, 217.2, 16-point gap. They play all their defense on the road, play better offense at home. I think I'd be on over 233 or whatever the number is now. Going the wrong way, though, like Ronald said, in my opinion.
By the way, big shout out to Coach Eric Spoelstra, who just, if you guys hadn't heard, signed a monster ski extension there with the Miami Heat. And maybe the best part of that contract is they just executed it 1 month after his divorce was final. So kudos to Pat Riley and to the Miami Heat for waiting to sign that contract extension of $120 million. Pat Riley winning, even when Pat Riley ain't winning. He's still winning there, Ski. Outstanding stuff, Spo.